Good morning. Good morning. Amazing. Lawnard, it's good to see you. What day is it? It's Tuesday. It's April 28th. I can't believe we are literally in it's gonna be May. I'm not prepared. I'm not ready for it to be May. I'm not prepared for any of it. I missed you all last week, Lawnards. It was a very busy week and I am still not 100%. Traveling sometimes will do that, but it's been very, very busy. We'll talk about it on a members only live. Today, we're going to talk about Kouri Richins. I will regale you with the tales of how busy things are later. But if you're like, Emily, girl, I know my back is not, cooperating with being like a functioning part of my body. And I am a little under the weather. And it's been incredibly busy. Dr. B also under the weather. So it's all good. It's amazing. So we are just, that's where we're at. So if you're like, girl, not quite me. It's all right. We'll be back. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. It'll be all the things. It'll be great. D said you had Summit fun. I did have fun at Creator Summit. It was very busy. It was nonstop. And then at some point my back was just like, and scene. And so I'm like, good. This is good. Everything's good. We're just there. But thanks to the lovely folks at Erlin, I was able to get a remake of my beloved glasses that I had lost. And I was so sad, but it just took me a minute to get them remade. So I'm very excited. I got a new piercing. That's why the ear is red up there. Look, it doesn't matter. We'll just, a new hole, some new glasses. It's all going to be fine. We've got spicy weather. We've got all the things. So if you're just like, oh girl, I'm like, yeah, it is. So if we're a little bit of a shorter stream today, you'll know why. And we've got stuff later this week. We're going to be in court. So we're going to try to make sure that we like mount up and ride. Artsy said, now you'll find the original pair. That's probably true. I think they're in Boston somewhere. I think they didn't make it back from a trip to Massachusetts. I think they have been sacrificed to Boston. Either that or like, state police is holding them hostage. I'm joking. I don't think that's true. I think I just lost them. So we are going to peek in on what's going on in Utah. We're going to answer some questions. And that's probably all I'm going to be able to do. We're probably going to go stand desk in a few, though it doesn't really help. But I'm here with the conspiracy theories. My glasses have been rehomed with the rest of the phones in Canton. That's exactly what's happened. So I have a comfort coffee. Emily, do we need more caffeine? Yes. Yes. Don't we always? Let me know where you're coming in from, what you're drinking. We're going to talk about Kouri. We're going to talk about Judge M. We're going to revel in the glasses being back. I'm so excited. So that's where we're at. I should check the military bases. Proud Canadian said, saw you pop up on Ryan Hall's stream. I have been popping up and saying hi on Ryan Hall's stream. I spent a lot of Creator Summit being an unabashed Ryan Hall y'all hype woman, to the point where I'm like, Ryan, if I'm being way too much, you can just tell me to go away. I realize that it's a lot of extroversion. Like I will omnivert, like I will need a couple weeks to recover. But when I'm around all of the people, I'm just like, people. And then I'm like, I need to go hide in a cave for a month and a half. Now I'm exhausted. But I was definitely an unapologetic Ryan Hall y'all hype woman. And then we'll tell this story. Let chat, because there's going to be a lot of you that are like, Emily, I have been waiting to find out what's going on with Kouri. I've been dodging spoilers left and right on the internet and just like, I know. We'll do Kouri first. Then we will tell a story about Ryan Hall y'all and Creator Summit and all of that when we get to Q&A. Is that fair? I think that's fair. Let's do that. So we can cover the Kouri stuff and then we will get to just a little bit about Creator Summit. Is that fair? We'll just, Emily, if you move too fast, you're going to make it worse. Yeah. Okay. Picture it for yourselves. Those of you that can. Audio description. Emily trying to dodge things like she's in the Matrix. Yeah, trying to dodge spoilers. So, are we ready? Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me where you're coming in from. We're going to go to, where are we going? Utah. We're going to Utah. Utah, give me 2. We're going to Utah. And then we're going to talk about Kouri, and then we're going to talk about the other stuff. Yeah, that's what we're doing. All right, that sounds good. Let's roll the intro. It sounds good. It's going to be that kind of day. We're in court later this week. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We've all had those days, haven't we? But I missed you guys. I was like, we need to be here. I missed the law nerds. And then we pulled together a podcast for yesterday for all of you that saw the podcast and left lovely comments. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to see you over on the podcast channel as well. And we're going to go. You ready? Let's go. Thank y'all for no spoilers in the chat. Honestly, today, you might get spicy, Emily, not like patient, oh, they probably didn't know, Emily. So just gird your loins. Let's roll the intro. Let's get going. Emily, the audio is still not in the right place. Why? Because I was watching Ryan Hall, y'all, and I don't run that through the computer. I run it through the speakers. That's why. Take 2. We'll fix it in post. Hey there, I'm lawyer and legal analyst Emily D. Baker, and this is your go-to destination for live court coverage. I break down the law, the strategy, and the evidence in real time so you know what's happening. No law degree required. So join the law nerds in the chat. They're here for the facts, not and let's get to court. All right, we'll do a quick road so far, then we will fly to Utah, then we will cover what's going on, then we will talk about all of the other stuff going on in the world, and then, well, in my world. Emily, are we talking about anything else going? No, we'll just talk about the stuff that has been happening. And then we will probably wrap because my back is just, it's spicy. And if we need a stand desk, we'll stand desk. But that's why we have the stand desk. On occasion, it's just like, which is fine. Let's do a road so far where we are with Kouri Richins. All right. So with Kouri, we have been waiting to see what's going to happen with the sentencing. We saw the defense make their argument of woe and say that they needed more time for sentencing and they couldn't possibly be ready, even though sentencing was set out like 45 days after the date. And we saw the defense arguing that there was a death in the family and that they needed more time and that one of the other attorneys, Mr. Ramos, is going to be in trial and. Oh no. And then the prosecution came back with, girl. I mean, that's my summary of the prosecution's argument. That's not actually what was said, but my summary of the prosecution's argument was girl. What are we doing? And then the prosecution laid out that the day after the conviction, which was on March 16th, Kouri was on the phone with her aunt, and her aunt asked, did you know that this was on Eric Richins' birthday? And she said to her aunt on the jail call, hey, I told Nestor to move it. She was having this conversation the day after sentencing. A month later, the defense made this motion. So, you know, we then see Bloodworth lay out that, hey, by the way, Ramos says he's going to be in trial, but that trial's trailing other trials. The defendant's out of custody. And that trial date was set after the sentencing date was set, which means it doesn't get priority. See, things just stacks of trials. When trials are stacked, the out of custody defendants do get pushed backwards first because their statutory rights are different because they are not in custody. They are not being held in custody. And so the trial Ramos is supposed to be in is also a 2-defendant or 2-attorney trial. And it doesn't take priority. It's not even first in line. So that's like not going to happen that day. And I'm sure that the prosecution also has other trials happening, right? It's not as if the prosecutors are done with this case and then just get to go sit on their, office chairs and talk about this case and watch Dateline and wait to see what happens next. They all have to get back to their work. So yeah, everybody's back to work. And Attorney Nestor was in court on another case that she's on. Some of you might be following it. I am not following it closely at this point. We'll talk about it at another time, but she is one of the defense. Nestor is one of the defense attorneys on the Tyler Robinson case. He's accused of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He is, or was in court right after all these motions started. And you know what? I peeked in. I feel very strongly about having cameras in the courtroom. I talked to JB over at WFLA about that. They are arguing to not have cameras in the courtroom in that case. I feel that very strongly that cameras should be in the courtroom. And I think even when cameras should not be in the courtroom, there are ways to work around that. And there are witnesses who don't need to be shown or testimony that can be sealed. But overall, I think we're better off with more transparency, not less. I will say this all the time. I'll say it all the time. Because I think that we really need to have transparency in our courts. And I also think it's more accessible. There are people who physically cannot go to court and sit in court and watch it. Cameras make that more accessible. There's people who couldn't go to court and hear everybody in court. A, courtrooms are really loud, and B, all of the other things that can access courts from home. There are people who, there are so many other reasons that physically going to court, while yes, it's public, is not always accessible. When we have the technology, why not just make it more accessible? Why not just make it more transparent? Why not at least let people see what's happening in court so they know what is? We might not like what's happening in court. We might not like the arguments that are being made. We might not like the way the attorneys comport themselves. Their voice might feel like nails on a chalkboard to us, but at least we can see what actually is happening. All right, I'm going to step off my soapbox without twisting my ankle and just say I feel very strongly about cameras in the courtroom. So I was keeping an eye on what's been going on in that case regarding cameras in the courtroom. And Nestor was in court arguing that they need more time in that case, not our case, that case. They're asking for 6 more months in that case before the preliminary hearing even starts. Different than the David case, which we've been talking about. In the David case, I'm saving some of you guys have some great questions and comments. I'm saving them to get them. So in the David case, they're pushing for a preliminary hearing within the statutory period of 10 days. In the Robinson case, they're asking for 6 more months before they even have the probable cause hearing. It took like a year with Kouri, didn't it? More than a year with Kouri to get to the preliminary hearing, which is so wild to me because I'm also used to LA a little bit, where preliminary hearings are like within that 10-day, 20-day, 30-day period. They tend to go pretty quickly and they're set up to go quickly. You're ready for it. You're just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So for them to be asking for 6 more months for the preliminary hearing and the Robinson case was just blowing my mind. But honestly, Emily, you're petty. I know. Honestly, I wanted to see what Nestor was going to argue about needing more time in that case. I was just curious. I wanted to know what in the world is going to be argued. What is Nestor going to say? You know what she didn't bring up once? She didn't bring up a death in the family. She didn't bring up a death in the family at all. No, she didn't. No, she did not. Do you know what she said to the judge? Well, Your Honor, I was in trial in Summit County, and we didn't even finish to like the 17th, 18th. First of all, that verdict was on the 16th. We didn't even finish till like the 17th, 18th. And then, do you know what she said? And then I was sick for 10 days. Ma'am, I get it. I get it. We all knew that everybody was sick in that. Well, no, the defense side of the table was sick in that courtroom. We knew that people had been sick. Didn't bring up a death in the family, not even once. I'm sick. Now, I'm not saying that she lied about a death in the family in the Summit County case. I'm just saying it was interesting that when she's asking for more time in the Robinson case, she brings up that she had been in trial and that she was sick, but doesn't bring up what she brought up for a continuance in the Kouri Richins case days apart. Those arguments were days apart. Didn't bring up that she was going to be out of the country, which I think is probably true. Didn't bring up that she's going to be out of the country, and was asking for 6 more months for more time to go over stuff. Okay. It was interesting to me to see the differences in the arguments. So, all the other defense attorneys on that case also want a continuance. I don't know what the judge did. We'll see what happens. But it was very much I'm sick. Which, by the way, is continuing to be a reference to Mean Girls. Chat, when we get to Q&A, remind me to tell you about Sweet Home Alabama. Hold on to it. Don't let me forget. I have a Sweet Home Alabama story for you that we are not saving for members only. I just have to share it with y'all. Just put that one in your pocket. We'll be back. So Nestor wasn't arguing that there was a death in the family and she needed more time. Then again, a death in the family to get, 6 more months is not really going to work. The movie, Sophie's solid question. This time the movie. So I was curious to see what the reply would be when the prosecution was like, excuse me, Miss Ma'am, you really need this much more time? And what did I say when we were talking about that? What did I say? I said, well, the defense is asking for more time. The judge will probably give them more time. They're saying they need more time to get their witnesses together. They need more time for this and that. The judge will probably give them more time because judges often give grace in that way. And I am here to tell you today that I have never been more happy to be wrong. And we're going to look at what the judge had to say. But you know what I was waiting for? I was waiting for Nestor to reply. So we had the motion to continue for more time. We had the opposition from the prosecution. I was waiting for the defense reply. The defense didn't reply. They just pushed it through for decision. They didn't even respond to what the prosecution had to say. So we are going to take a look at what Judge M has had to say. I have not read it. I only saw the heading of the motion and I went, I can't do this today because yesterday I didn't have much of a voice. I was like, I can't do this today. I want to tell the law nerds immediately, but we're going to wait till tomorrow. It'll be fine. We'll do it together. So we're going to do it together. I know I've now spoiled. We're going to fly to Utah. We're going to stay in Utah, I think, the rest of the week because we're going to go to the Taylor Dakota hearing in Utah because she's asked for that hearing to be sealed and the judge is like, nah. So we're going to do that later this week. Curious. So on Thursday, when I'm sitting with y'all as we are observing family court, and I am just like, oh my God. Remind me that I said we were going to do that together because those attorneys, I liked the judge very much. Those attorneys were hurting my brain the last hearing we were in for that. But I also want to see what happens with the hearing. So we're going to have a little layover in Utah. We'll see what happens tomorrow. So, sorry. Newham23 said, who's Taylor Dakota? No, Taylor and Dakota. I'm sorry, I did say that very fast. We've been covering the case a little bit. She was supposed to be the next Bachelorette, and then they pulled the season. They have a family law court hearing that looks like it's going to be streamed. We've watched the first part of that hearing. We're going to watch the second part of that hearing together. It's, who knows? Maybe they will resolve it before Thursday. That would be the best. The best for everyone is if they could just agree to a mutual stay away and a third party to help them exchange their child for like a year. It would be the best. That would be the best. That's what they should do. Okay. So, are we ready to go? Let's go to Utah. Let's see what the judge has to say. And then we'll talk a little bit about Creator Summit. Yeah? Sound good? Sound fair? All right. Let's ride. I know, I now just am ready to finish my coffee. I was very surprised. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be, but I was. I was very surprised that the defense didn't respond to the state's opposition, because the state was like, so that trial's not really going, and Ramos isn't really not ready, and the family has a right to a speedy sentencing as well, and the family is no longer going to sit by while we do all of this. I'm surprised that they didn't say anything at all, and we're just like, hey, Judge M, can we get a ruling on this? And so I don't know if we've seen the defense not reply when they have the opportunity to have the last word. It was surprising to me, truly. But I guess, what are they going to say? Like, once their client's like statement that, oh, I told Nestor to just move it. Once their client's statement was out there, is there much to say? Because how are you going to, what are you going to say? How are you going to rebut that? Our client said 30 days ago she wanted it to be continued, and we waited. So let's see what Judge M has to say to the defense, shall we? Let's go. It's time to go. It's time to go. It's time for coffee. Lauren Bell asks, wait, EDB, what statement? The prosecution's op, and we covered that right before I traveled. Let's pull it up. It was Kouri's statement that she was going to have the sentencing continued. She told her aunt on her jail call that she was just going to have it continued. Here, I'll just pull it up. We'll go to that exactly. We'll go to her statement exactly, and then we'll swoop back to the judge's ruling. Emily, you're just delaying the ruling. No, I'm not. We'll get to it, I promise. We'll just answer this question first real quick. So, this is the statement of facts. This is the prosecution's opposition to the defense motion to continue sentencing. On March 16th, immediately after the guilty verdict, which also I was hollering when Nestor was just like, oh, we finished on the 17th, 18th. I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Mr. Big, that's a great question. I'm going to come right back to that. On March 16th, immediately after the guilty verdict, defense counsel conferred and confirmed their availability for May 13th. The following day, March 17th, the defendant's aunt asked defendant if the sentencing was scheduled for Eric Richins' birthday. The defendant answered that it was, quote, as of now, but she, quote, told Kathy Nestor to reschedule it for the end of May, and that Miss Nestor, quote, said she would. Mr. Big Play Bray said, how did they get it? They still record her calls. She still has another case. She still has the financial crimes cases. And those were set for May 8th. And they're going to get set over to the sentencing date because she's going to need new attorneys in that case. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Brittany asked, do we think Kathy actually said that? If I'm giving grace, I would think that Kathy Nestor would say something along the lines of, I can ask, I will try, I will ask the judge, I'll try to move it. I don't doubt that what Kouri heard is, she said she'll take care of it. She said she'll take care of it. I don't doubt that what Kathy Nestor might have said and what Kouri Richins might have heard are not necessarily the same thing. But also, Nestor has gotten almost everything she's asked for from this court every single time. So Nestor might have said, I'll ask the court, he'll probably do it. Or yeah, I can get it moved. Who knows? But also, I think Kouri's going to hear the version she wants to hear. So, Cold Brew said her calls are always her calls are always recorded. It's just either they listen or not. That's a very fair point too, because her jail calls and her prison calls will always be recorded. They won't always check in on them. Jules in the chat said, it's not a doctor's appointment, Kouri. You can't just reschedule. It's fair. Just a test 90 in the chat said, to be fair, Nestor probably said, I'll try, and Kouri just heard what she wanted. It's really, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. So, let's take a look at what the judge said, shall we? Now we can swoop. Vegan Bree asked a great question in the chat and said, isn't she getting life? Why would a continuance be needed? There is an option in this. We didn't talk about this at the top today. From the top, make it drop. Okay, Emily, no, we can't. We definitely can't sing today. Kouri Richins is facing life without the possibility of parole or 25 to life, which means she could get parole. No, 15 to life. I think it's 15 to life. Hold on. I got to look at my notes because I do not feel well. I think it might be, no, it's a first. Where my confusion was on this is because they didn't seek capital punishment, I thought it was just automatically LWOP. It's not automatically LWOP. So there is a choice here between 25 to life and LWOP. So if she gets 25 to life, she could easily qualify down the road for parole. And so that's why we're not seeing the immediate sentencing. There's also room to sentence on the other charges. But like in the Murdaugh case, everybody's like, we can do this shit now. Like there's only one option. In other cases, we've seen that rapid sentencing when there's only one option. There's not just one option here. So she would have the option if she gets 25 to life to get out. And I pulled up the defense motion because I knew they put it at the beginning of their motion. I don't trust my brain when I do not feel well. Considering the seriousness of the sentencing options, either 25 years to life or life without the possibility of parole, additional time is needed to properly research and prepare mitigation evidence and witnesses for Ms. Richins. That's what the defense said. What witnesses? And also you would have prepared them during your trial. So no. All right, let's swoop to what Judge M had to say. Shall we? I think we shall. Now is the time. Swoop, swoop, swoop. All right. The spoiler in the heading right here from the judge, ruling in order denying defendant's motion to continue sentencing. Denied. 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 And Chad, I see a lot of you asking about mitigation witnesses. We'll talk about what that looks like in a broad sense after we cover the judge's order here. Fair? So, ruling in order denying defendant's motion to continue sentencing. The judge filed this yesterday afternoon. So it's Tuesday, April 28th. This was filed on April 27th in the afternoon in Utah. And the light is going to keep changing because the weather is just weathering today. So as long as it doesn't turn green, if I start to look slightly green, I am going to go. It's spring. You never know. All right. Before the court is defendant's motion to continue sentencing, docket 1727. On March 16th, 2026, at the conclusion of defendant's criminal trial, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all counts tried in the fourth amended information. Defendant waived her right to be sentenced within 45 days of the verdict. The court, with the agreement of all parties. That part. With the agreement of all parties, set a sentencing hearing for May 13th, 2026. Judge M is like, trial's done now, everybody. Buckle up. Trial's done. You do not just get your way. Trial is over. The judge clocked it right here. On April 13th, almost a month later, Emily, does he need to say almost a month later? Does he need to say that? No. But is he going to? Yes. Why? Because it's a month later. It's a month after sentencing. It's like they waited till just a month before and we're then just like, let's go. No, we're done. On April 13th, almost a month later, defendant moved to continue sentencing for two reasons. One, she needs more time to prepare mitigation information to support a sentence of 25 years to life instead of life without the possibility of parole on the aggravated murder charge. And two, one of defendant's three defense attorneys is scheduled to be in trial on May 13th. Notice he didn't mention anything else. Because all the other stuff goes to need more time. Decision. No, that says discussion. Sure. Rule 22A of the Utah Rules of Criminal Procedure affords the defendant the opportunity to, quote, make a statement and present any information in mitigation of punishment at her sentencing hearing. This right exists concurrently with the rights of victims to, quote, a speedy disposition of the charges free from unwarranted delay caused by or at the behest of the defendant. Well, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. To facilitate a victim's rights, whenever a motion to continue a sentencing hearing is filed, the court is required to, quote, inquire into the circumstances requiring the delay and consider the interest of the victim of crime to a speedy disposition of the case. So what the judge is doing here, Judge M is acknowledging the shift. So prior to a conviction, so much of the focus is on the defendant's rights and the defendant's constitutional rights. The judge is acknowledging that there is room for a shift here, that after the conviction, there are also victims' rights at play that need to be considered. And those rights are codified in the rules of court. You'll hear this talked about in California under Marcy's Law, and you will hear this talked about in other jurisdictions under additional statutes, because those things were written into statutes to give victims, though substantially less than defendants, but to give victims rights for the most basic things, like to be told what's happening with the case, to be told before a disposition is made. A lot of the things in the Victims' Rights Act are the most basic levels of communication, but they were not regularly happening. And what I think is a benefit of having not just the victims' rights statutes, but the victims' rights statutes that tell the court what the court needs to consider, is that when prosecutors, and this is just from my own experience in California, would stand up and say, Your Honor, we can't do this plea today. We haven't had a chance to call the victim's family and let them know they have a right to be here. The courts can easily be like, well, where? The defendant has a right to dispose of their case. Where does it say that the victim has a right to that? And so the victims' rights laws help give the court rules that force them to pause on certain things. And so the judge is reminding the defense here that there is a shift. And in jurisdictions that don't have victims' rights laws or legislation on the books, and I don't know if there's any that still don't, then it's harder for the courts to balance that a little bit, which is why we see the court pointing it out here. Hey, under our rules, it says that these are the rights. And so then there is that shift. And we saw that in the prosecution's motion as well. The prosecution said, look, for years now, the victim's family has been at the mercy of the court process. When the defendant got new lawyers, everything got delayed a year. When the defendant wanted to appeal the lack of change of venue, this case got delayed another 8-9 months. Like, all of these delays have impact on the victim's family. because they're constantly in this horrible holding pattern, waiting for this case to go to trial. And now we have gotten past the guilt and those rights shift. This family has been waiting since March of 2022 to get to the day where the person who killed Eric Richins is held responsible. And it looks like that's going to happen on his birthday, May 13th, 2026. So the court points that out and says, what's so interesting to me is the prosecution points this out and the defense doesn't even have a reply to it. Because what are they going to say? The defense did not file a reply. The defense only filed a briefing is complete. We're ready for judgment. We're ready for an order. So the court goes on to say, defendant's motion does not present circumstances sufficient to justify a continuance of the sentencing hearing in this matter. Love it. Love it. Where's my clap? Where's my applause? Today we're getting out the applause button. We don't use it enough. Good. Good. Defendant's motion does not present circumstances sufficient to justify a continuance of the sentencing hearing in this matter. The court granted defendant approximately 2 months to prepare for sentencing. Although defendant argues she needs additional time to prepare mitigation or her mitigation case, defendant's motion lacks any specificity about what remains to be done or how long she expects preparations to take. Right. Y'all are just using conclusory statements. You're just saying we need more time. And the judge is like, what more time? What more time? What more time do you need? And why? And why didn't you explain it? So, no. Although one of her attorneys experienced a death in her family, defendant has the benefit of 2 other highly qualified attorneys to gather and prepare mitigation information. Isn't that what we said? Isn't that what we said? Mm-hmm. What about Miss Lewis? What about Mr. Ramos? You have 3 attorneys. Where are your other attorneys? The court goes on to say, moreover, I'd switched my brain back into Kouri's motion. Judge M goes on to say, moreover, to the extent one of her attorneys is unable to attend the sentencing hearing due to commitments in another case, defendant has 2 other highly qualified attorneys who can represent her interests at the hearing. Okay. If Ramos is in trial, you still have Nestor and Lewis. You only need 1 attorney. We're done. The court goes on to say, on the other hand, the victim's interest in moving forward without delay is compelling. This is just the court saying the prosecution made the better argument. The prosecution made the better argument. In the unredacted version of the opposition memorandum, which is not the one we have, the state described in compelling detail the effect that a delay of the sentencing would have on the minor victims, which the court incorporates into this ruling by reference. So the court is saying that the things listed in the unsealed version of the prosecution's opposition is incorporated by reference, which is the way that the court is saying that I'm taking that into consideration, but I'm not putting it in the public docket. So the court's sidestepping putting it in the public docket by using that. And we saw that there's points of the state's opposition that we've seen that are redacted and just lined out. And the court's incorporating those by reference. That is the wrong motion. There we go. Back to our motion. The court concludes the minor victims in particular, these are Eric Richins' children. I mean, yes, they're also Kouri's children, but she's lost parental rights and he didn't. He's deceased. The court goes on to say that the court concludes that the minor victims in particular would endure sufficient prejudice if the sentencing hearing is continued beyond its current setting. Accordingly, because defendant has not provided reasons sufficient to justify continuing the sentencing hearing, and because the victims have an interest in a speedy disposition of this case, defendant's motion is respectfully denied. I mean, the law nerds are sitting here screaming disrespectfully. Disrespectfully denied. With no respect, Your Honor. We are not here for this getting continued. So, the law nerds, yes. It is disrespectfully denied. Sit down. You've had enough time. Go to court and get sentenced. Too bad. But the court's being respectful. Nonetheless, to ensure that all interested parties have ample opportunity to be heard, the court has cleared its calendar on May 13th. The sentencing hearing in this matter is the only hearing scheduled before the judge that day. So the judge had set aside a half day for this and is now setting aside a full day. So I imagine the time of the hearing will be bumped earlier in the day. That's what's going to change. So they did get a change. The defense did get a change. Here's the change that they got. They now have the full day. So now they better use it. The defense said in their motion, part of why they needed this to be continued is because they needed a full day and the court had set aside a half day. And the court said, bet. I'll make sure we have a full day, and moved everything else off the calendar on May 13th. So now, what has Judge M done? Judge M has said, you didn't bring sufficient facts to get a continuance. No continuance for you. You said you needed a full day. You now have a full day. I have moved all the other cases from May 13th to other days. We now have a full day. If the defense shows up with no mitigating witnesses, I am going to holler. And I can see them doing it. Honestly, I could see it happening. But the defense was saying that they wanted to bring in more mitigation witnesses. And a lot of you asked, what mitigation witnesses could there be? Her mom? Her brother? Her bestie? The one that's still her bestie, Allie? But that's about it. And Kouri has the right to make an impact statement. But what other mitigating witnesses? I don't know. Maybe somebody who worked with her? I don't know. Anyone who is still seemingly fond of Kouri might come in and say she should have the opportunity to rehabilitate and at someday have the opportunity to reconnect with her children, which I don't think is the argument that they should go for. I don't think that'll be a strong argument. But they might make it. They are going to try to convince the judge that the proper sentencing here is 25 to life, not life without parole. Will Kouri make a statement at sentencing? She has the right to. Will there be witnesses in mitigation? The defense said in their motion that they need more time for that. I mean, can you picture the defense coming in and saying, oh, but we didn't have time to get our mitigation witnesses together? Honestly, I could see that happening. They've had plenty of time. But I could see them using that as an excuse when there are no mitigating witnesses. Let's see. They said in their motion that additional time is needed to properly research and prepare mitigation evidence. Research what? And then their footnote says, pursuant to Utah Rules of Criminal Procedure 22, the court must afford the defendant an opportunity to make a statement and present any information in mitigation. But they did not indicate what is needed. They go on to say there's no presumption in favor of either of the two sentencing options. I think that they are aware, I think that they are aware that the court could very easily find this to be a life without parole case. and they are going to try to find whatever mitigation they can find. But the court basically called out their motion and said, y'all have a lot of excuses. You don't have any facts. What else does the defense say in their motion? We need more research. In order to present mitigation evidence and allow family and others to address the court, the defense needs a full day. The court's like, you got it, boo-boo. I got you a full day. There it is. There it is. And then Miss Nestor recently had a death in the family and is not available to prepare for the sentencing hearing. And then she's got a vacay in June. And then Ramos has trial. But there's no facts about what they need to do. The court's like, this is just a bunch of excuses without any information. Where's the rest of it? And then the prosecution came in, and I know we looked at this together, but the prosecution came in with the facts. Hey, Your Honor, for 3 years, Eric Richins' family has painfully and patiently stood by as the defendant has manufactured one reason after the other to delay this proceeding. Boom. That's it. There's no reason for them to suffer further delay, and the time has come for the court to sentence Kouri Richins. And you know what?
Do it.
That's what the court's going to do.
Liar!
Wrong one. I need to change the color of that button because on the soundboard, Chloe yelling liar and my gavel sound are the same. Though a lot of you have petitioned for Legally Blonde Reese Witherspoon yelling liar and hurling chocolates at the TV. So we might have to switch out our liars. But there we are. So, May 13th. Kouri Richins told her family members, oh yeah, the sentencing date is the sentencing date for now. But I told Kathy Netzer to change it and she said she would. Well, Judge M isn't going along with that plan and said that the defendant's motion is long on excuses and short on actual facts, circumstances, and evidence. I mean, that's me paraphrasing a lot. But that there were no compelling reasons to continue the sentencing. And it looks like Kouri Richins is going forward to sentencing on May 13th. The court did acquiesce to a part of the defense request because the defense said in their motion to continue that they needed a full day to present the sentencing because they wanted to present witnesses and mitigation. If they show up with zero witnesses and only argument, I am going to absolutely holler. I am going to holler. But the court said, it's fair. I have cleared everything else from May 13th, and we're ready for a full day of sentencing hearing. So the only thing that's going to change about Kouri Richins' sentencing is it might start earlier in the morning. All right, y'all, I need to put up a poll. I'm putting up a poll. Hold on, I'll finish and I'll finish what I'm saying and then I'll put up a poll about which liar sound clip we're going to use. Fair. So Kouri is going to be sentenced on May 13th. The defense is going to get their full day for a sentencing hearing. We'll see if they show up with mitigation evidence, which can be statements from professionals, from family members. It can be letters presented to the court. It can be Kouri's own statement. And then I think on the 13th, we will see impact statements. And members of Eric's family have the right to make impact statements. The minor children have the right to make impact statements. I imagine that the children will not be there, and that if there are impact statements from the children or on behalf of the children, those will be submitted in writing. I do not expect that we will see them in court. I do not expect that we will see those statements made public, and I think that that's appropriate. I think that any statements of impact from the children, care providers, or professional providers should be sealed so that Kouri will see it. Her defense attorneys will see it. The court will see it. But I don't think that's for the public, and I think that that's fair. They are minor children. And so I think that it's going to be an emotionally difficult day for sentencing. I think there's a very good chance that the court does sentence her to life without the possibility of parole. I will be surprised if she gets 25 to life. That's just where I'm at. I don't know Judge M. I've not seen Judge M sentence on other cases. I think that when you are looking at the circumstances surrounding this case, the attempted murder, then the murder, you are not looking at a heat of the moment type of split decision that somebody then regrets. You are not looking at an accident. You are looking at premeditation, contemplation, planning, and a level of cold, calculated murder that I think, and again, my perspective is coming from a former prosecutor, I think is in the category of life without the possibility of parole. This is a domestic violence related homicide. And it's very clear the ripples of damage that Kouri Richins has done well beyond herself. It's like when we're looking at Banfield. I think Banfield is in the realm of a DP case for me, but that goes on the different jurisdiction and what those prosecutors choose to do or not do. But that's an LWOP case. If that's not a DP case, that's an LWOP case for Banfield. And I can understand it when we're looking at Juliana. I think her deal was too light. But with Juliana, I can see an argument of look at a fixed sentence, 20 years, 25 years, because I don't think Juliana is going to cause harm to other people after this. I don't think the same with Banfield. So Banfield, prison forever. I'm fine with that. So it will be interesting to see what the court does here, because the court can make that choice. I think that the court is going to, or at least has lots of reason to go with LWOP. This is not an accidental case. This is not a split decision case. This is not somebody who was overwhelmed and, not acting in their right mind. That's not what Kouri's case is. We have seen cases like that. That's not what Kouri's case is. Now, Kouri's version of reality and how the rest of us interact with reality might not be the same. That's fair, especially when you look at the financial state stuff. But this was planned and iterated. She was like, oh, how can I do this better the next time? And what you would want to see, you would want people not to murder one another, obviously. That's not where we're at. But in attempted murder cases, often you will see somebody be really glad that the other person did not die, because it was one of those moments where they're like, shit, you can't undo that. And now at least there's room to move forward. That's not what Kouri did. Kouri didn't attempt to kill Eric Richins. And then he gets really sick. And then she went, what the fuck was I thinking? It's just time. It's time to get a divorce. This is way, way, way too far. This has gone way too far. I need to get a divorce. I need to get out of here. That's not what she did. She went, I need something stronger. And I need to make sure all of it goes into his system. That's an LWOP case. That's an LWOP case. For me. So we'll see what the judge does. That's going to be May 13th. Grab your Kleenex. It's going to be a really difficult day. And honestly, if she had stopped after the attempt and they had gotten divorced, she might have never gotten prosecuted for it. Because if they had just gotten divorced, he would have probably just been like, we need to get away from each other. It might have come up in divorce proceedings and custody arguments, but I don't know if she ever would have gotten prosecuted for it. So there was room after the Valentine's Day attempted murder, there was room for her to make a different choice. And instead, she quadrupled down. And to me, again, life without parole. Bye-bye. Often we don't have such a clear fact pattern to talk about what premeditation looks like. Though I say that lately, we've had quite a lot of cases where the premeditation isn't the argument of premeditation can happen in a split second. We're not here in that case. Like even with Banfield was a very long planning period. Walsh was another one of those cases where you've got quite a bit of time there in the premeditation. We've actually seen a couple. But when you look at the premeditation in this case, there's a significant period of time of premeditation. Even if you start the premeditation on February 14th, though I think it starts when she first reaches out to, not Carmen Lauber, when she reaches out to the handyman, Hayden Jeffs. When she reaches out to Jeffs, I think is where the premeditation and the planning starts. This isn't a split second decision. So, May 13th, Kouri will be sentenced. She might be sentenced to 25 to life. She might be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, as I call it LWOP, LWOP. So that's one of the acronyms you will hear me use quite a lot. I did a lot of LWOP cases prosecuting, but it's LA. We just do a lot of cases. A lot of you are asking, Emily, did you put up a poll? No, I kept talking. Emily, do you have more pictures from Creator Summit? No, same answer. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to answer some questions. And then we'll go from there. Riley Bear said, what happened to Hayden Jeffs again? Was in a fatal motorcycle accident before the case went to trial. And so did not testify. Jeffs's girlfriend, fiance, significant other testified and didn't want to be there at all. So we didn't get all of that testimony. We saw it in pretrial motions. Okay, we're going to start a poll. We're going to figure out which soundbite we're going to use for liar. We need a liar soundbite. What liar? All right, y'all get to choose. Y'all are here today. How many of us are here with us today? Let me take a look. Emily, do we not know how many people are on stream? I just look at the chat and I see all the law nerds and I'm like, hello, law nerds. So over 13,000 of you for being here today, you get to pick. You get to pick. Let's see. Khloe Kardashian is the one on there now. From Keeping Up. All right. I'm putting it in the poll. We're going with Khloe Kardashian, Elle Woods. And who says it in Princess Bride? Is it Wesley? A lot of you are thinking the movie. Which one was it? Because I don't remember. Because from Princess Bride, I'm always thinking, I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. Like, that's where I go first. That's where I go first. Thank you. That's right. Say it's the same conversation, isn't it? Thank you. Chat's like, Emily, Carol, yes. Perfect. All right, I'm putting those up. Okay, you guys want Jim Carrey from Liar Liar as well. All right. All right, chat wins. Chat wins. I'm putting up the poll. Whatever you guys pick is what we're putting on the soundboard. There you go. Polls up. I'm going to leave it up. Just keep in mind the polls at the bottom. We're going to tell you a story real quick. And then we're going to get to questions. It's time to just chat. Y'all we're going to chat. Emily, is there more law happening? Probably. We'll talk about it tomorrow. This is all that's happening here. We're going to have a full day of sentencing for Kouri Richins. Bring your Kleenex. I'm going to cry. We're going to cry. We're just going to cry. It's going to happen. But I got a story for you guys about the poll being at the bottom. And we're going to chat about it. For all of you who have wondered what a members only is like, we're going to do a little bit of that now. I'm saving your questions about the case. We'll get to it. Let's go. For all of you that are telling me that you hate having the poll at the bottom, I agree. For all of you that hate having the pinned chats at the bottom, I agree. So, a lot of you know this past week I was in California for Creator Summit. I love being invited to Creator Summit. I was thrilled to be invited back to Creator Summit. I feel old. I feel my age. I feel wise each time I go to Creator Summit. Like, I've moved past unk status to like YouTube grandma. I'm totally fine with it. I love it. So Creator Summit is the fastest, busiest couple of days that I have ever experienced. It is more jam-packed than any conference I've ever been to. What is Creator Summit? YouTube brings together the executives from YouTube and creators to talk about the platform, to talk about the direction of the platform, to talk about different features on the platform, to talk to each other about things that are going on, to have an opportunity to be in an environment where you can be like, hey, who's in charge of this thing? And they're like, oh, here are all the bosses in charge of that thing. And to meet with other creators. And YouTube invites the creators that are going to be there. And then it is literally an all expenses paid, like, they say 2 days, but really it's like a half day on arrival day, a very full day. And when I say full day, programming from like 8 a.m. till midnight, full day, like a very full day, and then a half day. It is so fast. Like, it's so fast. Kate said, do you recommend it? Creator Summit is an invite only. So I can't recommend Creator Summit because YouTube puts it together. YouTube chooses who's there and YouTube curates what creators are present, and it is creators only. So that is fully within YouTube. How they make those decisions, I have no idea. So the first day you get there, and it's like a 4 p.m., I think, happy hour that they have. So there's like a 4 p.m. Meet and greet, and then programming starts, and they do programming all evening. So we went from 4 p.m. till well after midnight. I have some videos of that we will do on members only, because some of them I'm going to have to remove music from before we can do that. So we had a very full day. The welcome day, they had a guest speaker. They had time for creators to see each other and have a chat. Next members only is going to be next week. So we will be doing a members only next week. So Neil Monahan, the CEO of YouTube, is there the entire time and like having conversations and mingling and doing all of the things. But so are all of the like top level executives, like the bossy bosses. Like, YouTube has a corporate structure that feels kind of like the DA's office, where it's like you have your immediate boss and then like their boss and then up. Like, there are so many bosses. There are a lot of bosses. And sometimes it's hard for me to keep track of what bosses are where, but there's a lot of bosses. And so all the way up to Neil. And there is a new like top, when I say C-suite, like corporate executive, top of the pyramid, top line boss. So it's like Neil and then like all the like, I guess, senior VPs, C-suite executives, and then like everybody on their verticals. What I love about this is that all of the bosses are roughly my age and generally have kids around the same age. So I love seeing all the bossy bosses because I feel like they're peers. And I love getting to chat with them about what they're working on and what they're doing and all the things. Love seeing all the bosses. And all of them work at YouTube because like they really love YouTube. And so it's really fun to have those conversations because most of them have stories that brought them to YouTube, either like first early days YouTube or like through loving YouTube and coming over from the Google side. Fascinating humans, super accomplished, all different backgrounds. So it's not like everybody's just from tech or just from engineering or what have you. You've got just such a wide variety of backgrounds of people who have come to being leadership at YouTube. So I absolutely love it. In that, the very first day, there is a new bossy boss in charge of where we're at in community. One of the things I struggle with YouTube is when I say, hey, can we do this? The answer I normally get is, we would love to do that. But that is a combination of our team and then this other team. And then we also need this other team. And then we need like engineers. So there's like 4 different teams that we need. Anyone who works a job that has structures with different team verticals understands that what's a priority on your team and what's a priority on another team might not align together. So this is where some of the things we're asking for bump up against one another. So the very first night, when they did all kinds of insane stuff, the very first night, one of the new top bosses is in charge of community. And so she came up and introduced herself. I was so happy to meet her. Aparna, it was lovely to see you. You are a delight. But Aparna comes up and is like, so I hear that we have some thoughts about the comments and the polls being at the bottom of the chat. I'm like, oh yes, I have a lot of thoughts. The fact that the top level executive knew the level of EDB displeasure, which is not just EDB displeasure. I'm like, let me remind you that the EDB displeasure is the law nerds displeasure. If the law nerds loved it, you wouldn't hear shit from me. The law nerds are displeased. I am just their representative. I am here representing the law nerds of the internet. The law nerds hate it. The law nerds hate it a lot. The law nerds hate it so much. But the fact that this was known before I even step foot to our creator summit was hilarious to me. And I love it. I was like, oh, good. You've heard. Wonderful. And the thing that I love about this community is that it's not just don't change things, we hate it, even though sometimes we just hate change. This is not we just hate change, we hate it. This is, look, when we are on mobile chat, it blocks half the chat, and then it blocks what's coming up next, and then it's in the way. And so you want to click off of it, but then if you click off of it when we're in trial, then you don't have the little blurb of what witness is on the stand or whatever. It's intrusive, and it doesn't make a good chat experience. So I'm like, this is not just a meh. We hate it. Lindsay, I thought so too. Lindsay in the chat said, I figured it was a glitch. Who would put them at the bottom? I don't know. No one's explained to me why it's happening. I'm hoping that we're going to get that explanation. I've just been like, I hate this. This is like the 5th time. And for those of you that have been members for a long time, you've heard this conversation from me over and over again. Cause I'm like, hey guys, had the best time at like VidCon and got to talk to the head of this team about AI chat summaries and how much I hate them. And then we got a toggle button to change it and switch it off. So I was talking to some of the other teams and they were like, I think we have started calling the toggle button so that you can turn things off, like the Emily button. I'm like, good. I am so glad. If y'all are in corporate meetings asking yourselves, will the law nerds hate this? We have succeeded. Perfect. Because also if the law nerds hate it, it's not just my chat that's going to hate it. Just give us a toggle button. We don't want leaderboards in chat. We've never wanted leaderboards in chat. We don't want leaderboards in chat, but other creators might. Let me just turn it off. We don't want AI summaries in chat. Other creators might want AI summaries in chat. It might work really well for what they're doing. Let us just turn it off. If it is going to our community, let us just pick what's right for our community or what's not right for our community. That's all. So then everything got a toggle button. except for pinning things at the bottom. They just moved it. They didn't ask anybody. I have no idea who thought this was a good idea or why. I still don't know. Just put it back at the top because it blocks the comments coming up. We hate it. But I love that now it's are the law nerds going to absolutely riot? Yes, we're going to riot. We're going to riot. So this leads into the next conversation. So we have a guest speaker with Neil. We have a drone show and somebody on like a actual fucking jetpack, like Iron Man style with like the hands down. So like the Red Bull athletes were insane. People jumped out of a plane in the dark and like landed in the field. It was insane. It was so crazy. It was awesome. Family Ocean said, I don't get it. Mine is at the top. Am I tripping? You're not tripping. They are rolling it out to all channels, but not all channels have it at the top yet. Casey Cat said everyone was complaining in Ryan Hall's the other night too. I know, which is why I was like, Ryan, tell them you hate it at the bottom. I don't care if you hate it. Tell them we hate it at the bottom. I need you to also remind them that we hate all this shit pinned at the bottom. Please, Ryan, please, for the love of everything. I need the streamers to all unite. Streamers, tell them we hate it. We hate it. So the Red Bull athletes did incredible stuff. There was an after hours. The after hours gets into my Sweet Home Alabama story. I promise we will come back to that. The next day, we have we have breakfast, we have sessions in the morning. We had a formal sit-down lunch, which was lovely. Neil, the CEO of YouTube, and I had a lovely conversation, which I will tell you about in a minute, that we were both laughing. The conversation ends with Neil and us both laughing and everybody staring at us being like, what have they nerded about? Like nerding is happening, but huh? And then we have another session. And I've never seen another platform do this. But we have a session where they have the CEO of YouTube on stage, the heads of different departments, including engineering, on stage and say, hey guys, this is what we're looking forward to on the platform. Ask us questions. Ask us the hard questions. Just ask us. And I have never seen another platform bring together top creators on their platform and say, hey, this is a trusted space. You want YouTube to be great. We want YouTube to be great. Ask us questions and open up microphones for an hour and a half and let people ask questions. It was fantastic. And so I'm sitting there, I'm just like, hey, everybody, I have a question. So at this point, there are two microphone runners. I know who both of them are. I look at the microphone runner closest to me, and I'm like, Andrew, you bring me a microphone. You bring me. I'm like, Andrew, bring me the microphone, or I will stand up and just holler at everybody. Microphone, Andrew. And Andrew's like, I see you. I'm like, I will stand up and tackle you for a microphone right now. Because I got a question. So, Andrew, smart, lovely gentleman that he is, brought me a microphone. And I was like, yeah, we got a question for everybody. So I stand up. I'm like, hey, everybody. Emily D. Baker. They all know who I am. Emily D. Baker. Half the audience has no idea who I am. A lot of the other YouTubers, I'm sure, are just like, who in the world? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm over here in my own little world of the internet. I got you. The bosses on stage know who I am. So the bosses are like, hi. I'm like, hi, guys. I'm like, so. We've talked a lot about community experience on YouTube, and I love that. I want a great community experience on YouTube. But you know what's really difficult? When you want to put, say, a stream on the television, and then you want to try to have a conversation with somebody in a busy stream chat, and you're on mobile, and you're trying to chat with them, and you know what you can't do? You can't at them on mobile. And I have talked to everyone on the live streaming team, and do you know what they've all told me? they've all said that, well, this touches like 4 other teams. And so I figure since we have the head of all of the teams here, when are we going to get adding on mobile? Because you've changed our handle names, so they're handles, not screen names. I'm told that because this works on desktop, it can work on mobile, but engineering needs to do it. I'm looking at the head of engineering. So if we want to have an easier community experience, and y'all like the 2-screen experience, you love how much people are watching YouTube on their TV, can you just make it easier for us to add people on mobile so we can have a conversation? I am dyslexic. If there's 100,000 people in the chat, I am not going to get somebody's @ name correct. And then I can't see that they're talking to me, and they can't see that they're talking to me, and I can't see that they're talking to them. And it sucks. It's a sucky experience. It's not very YouTube-y at all, and I hate it. I didn't say all of the last part. I said some of the last part. Do you know how hard it is to try to get somebody's screen name correct when you're adding and there's like 100,000 people in the chat and you just want to say hello? And I have had this conversation for 4.5 years now. So can we get adding on mobile? Thanks, everybody. And so Neil is looking at the head of engineering, and Aparna is looking at me, and Aparna is like, we have heard that adding on mobile causes a lot of frustration. She goes, we have heard you. And we have heard that having the pin chats at the bottom is also causing frustration. At this point, I no longer have a microphone. I'm like, right, because everybody just turns it off and then they need the information, but they turn it off because it's obstructive. Right. She's like, right, I love your channel. And I was like, I appreciate that you love my channel. But you know that the law nerds hate this. So we're having this conversation. And later in the day, the vertical of the live team, 3 different people on the live team come up to me and let me know that engineers have been tasked to bring adding to mobile. So, though it is a rare occasion, and I feel incredibly honored to get to have that rare occasion to look at the CEO of a company and be like, can somebody just take one engineer and say, fix this, please? It's the one ask. And it fits all these other aspects of the platform. Can somebody just focus on it for like a month or 2? I swear it can't be that hard. I have no idea if it's that hard or not. But honestly, is it that hard? Like, if it's that hard, I feel like people would have said that it's that hard. What everybody said is we don't have anyone dedicated to doing it because there's so many priorities. So, I have been told that by the end of 2026, we will be able to @ people on mobile. I also have stared everyone in the face who told me that this was going to happen. So if we get to the end of 2026 and it does not happen, I at least know exactly who I need to have a chat with. So, law nerds, we have been told that by the end of the year, we will be having adding on mobile. I am very excited. Look, y'all changed the screen names. And if one of the reasons to do that was to make adding at mobile possible, make it possible. Thank you. We would love it. We hate it. So the timeline I was given was by the end of the year. I hope it's faster, but that's the timeline I was given. So hopefully we will see our adding at mobile. And I cannot wait. Look, I cannot wait. I'm told it's going to happen. I'm told that it will happen by the end of the year. Hopefully it will happen a little faster. I know that the platform has a million different priorities. And I think one of the things that I really love about this community is all of us just want to experience the platform in a better way. And we want to be able to connect and have community with each other. So if the platform is saying, hey, we also want community to have conversation, then this one thing we have been talking about for literally almost 5 years now, Why can't we just? Can we just? So I'm very excited that the one thing we have been asking for will make a huge difference, because I know how frustrating it is for y'all. I know how frustrating it is for me when I want to chat. Because when I'm watching streamers that I like, I often have it up on TV as well. And they are bringing, I don't know how much of this is NDA'd. Lonards. They are bringing more connectivity between TV and mobile, so that experience will be a little easier in the future. And I was like, right. So can we just? Because that roadmap to make the connectivity between TV and mobile a little easier did not seem to include atting someone on mobile. Just one feature upgrade. Thanks, everybody. So there's some cool stuff coming from YouTube that I am very excited about. And I got to meet creators that I've not met before. I got to talk to creators that I have seen before. And one of my favorite moments is that I was, Emily, you were talking. I don't have a ton of pictures because I was talking, but I was chatting with Kevin from Epic Gardening. A lot of you love Epic Gardening. If you don't know Epic Gardening, you will enjoy the content whether you want to garden or not. Kevin from Epic Gardening is quite a tall human. I am 5'7". I mean, my water polo stats might have said 5'8". That was a lie. But I am solidly 5'7". If I am standing all the way up, maybe 5'6". Solidly 5'7" if I have proper posture. So I'm talking to Kevin, and I see Max Velocity and Ryan Hall walking towards us. And I'm very much me. And I'm just like, oh my God, Kevin, this is, if you are ever with me at an event, this is how that is going to go every single time. I love connecting people. I never want anyone to feel like they haven't met someone at an event. So most of my time, if I am there, will be, oh my God, have you met so-and-so? This makes me the happiest in life, is to see cool people that I love meeting other cool people that I love and that I'm a fan of. And Kevin's got to be like 6'3", 6'4"-ish. All of them are taller than Brendan Banfield. So I see Ryan and Max together, and I said, oh my God, Kevin, have you met the Weathermen? Because yes, who are all both like 6'3", 6'4". So Max and Ryan come over and are talking to Kevin. I'm like, y'all have to meet each other, because Epic Gardening, you're impacted by the weather. These are the Weathermen. They do weather streams. They are amazing. You all need to know each other. And so we were talking a little bit about the YouTube stuff. I think it was the first YouTube event that either Max or Ryan had been to. And so I'm just like, y'all need to meet each other. And we're sitting there talking, and one of the like C-suite head of creators comes over. And I had been talking to Ryan and Max about one of the things I love about these events. I'm like, look, you guys, there are a lot of really cool creators here to meet, and it's awesome to go have a conversation with like MKBHD. Like it's a very cool thing. But just my philosophy on events like this, yes, it's awesome to meet other creators, but you have to meet the YouTube teams as well. Because if shit pops off, there are people within the YouTube world that you need them to know who you are and what your channel is, so that if you need something, A, they can fix it, and B, they can make sure that you continue to be in the rooms, and selfishly, where you can talk about streaming and the things we need for streaming. I need all of you to be in the room where they're having these conversations, because what Max and Ryan do is A, I think critical, B, helpful, and C, they should be able to get their needs met on the platform too, because what they're doing is so important. Like, I think what we do matters quite a lot. It is not the same type of like moment to moment critical that Ryan and Max do. What they do is absolutely critical. So what infrastructure do they need too? Because I love what they're building, and I love that when people need what they're doing, they're there. It's incredible. So, yes, Max is indeed 8'7". Yes. 6'7", 8". Yes. Facts. So as Max is towering over Kevin and Ryan and the rest of us, one of the heads of YouTube comes over, Kim, and I'm like, Kim, have you met the Weathermen? And Kim and I are both then going like this. Hello, gentlemen. And so they're talking about weather and gardening and all the great things. And another creator walks over who I also was so excited to see, because Emily is very much in her like Labrador energy when we're at these things. And I'm just like, oh my God, all the people I like get to meet each other. So I grab Michelle Kouri. You guys love Michelle Kouri. I grab Michelle. I'm like, Michelle, have you met, I know you've met Kevin because we've all sat and had conversations together, but have you met Max and Ryan? And Michelle's like, no. And I'm like, you have to meet Max and Ryan. So if you are not watching Michelle Kouri, by the way, go watch Michelle. I know you guys love a live stream. Go watch Michelle's stuff. She is doing 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. It's insane. It's insane. She is such an incredible filmmaker. I could go on and on forever about how much I adore her. I love her heart. I love what she is creating. She is just a bananas stunt woman, Red Bull athlete, badass, all of the things. She also recreated, and she did a really, really cool talk about recreating the stunt from Mission Impossible, where Tom Cruise was hanging out of a plane as it was taking off. She recreated that stunt. And it was absolutely wild to see. For those of you that don't know Michelle, her channel is, I think, under her name, but what she does is called Challenge Accepted. And she was talking a little bit about Challenge Accepted and how it started. And Michelle Kouri is like OG YouTuber. She started at BuzzFeed with Sophia and the Try Guys and the others. So they were all at BuzzFeed at the same time, like way back in the day on YouTube. Do you guys remember when BuzzFeed was like the coolest talent incubator ever? It was not just the quizzes. So Alienated Sharpness says, like actual marathons. Yes, like actual 7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days. Actually insane. So I did say 7 continents. She did run a marathon in Antarctica. So Challenge Accepted started, which I did not know, but Challenge Accepted started with her struggling with anxiety. And the Challenge Accepted was like going into the coffee shop and ordering a different coffee because it was making her anxious to order not her regular order from the person at the other side of the counter. And I saw her in BuzzFeed land, but then had seen her in like the crazy stunt woman stuff. And I didn't know, even though I know her and love her, I did not know all of the story in between. How Challenge Accepted started as like, I am going to work on my anxiety and like go outside and order a different coffee, versus I am going to hang out of a plane, which is insane. I'm going to run 7 marathons on 7 continents. I'm going to learn to be like a bareback samurai bow athlete or become a black belt in Taekwondo or whatever it is. But it started with one simple thing. And so her talk was one of the most impactful for me, with how she got from there to literally hanging out of a plane, recreating something that only Paramount has ever done, and reworking like the movie studios, and starting with like one step outside the comfort zone to literally recreating stunts from Mission Impossible and going for an Emmy, which 5 years ago, if you're like, you can win an Emmy for a YouTube series, people would laugh at you. And now she's going to be on the ballot which is incredible to me. So hearing her talk about her journey and what she's created, and then a 10-year journey to become a signed like Red Bull athlete, I'm like, I love her so much. I'm just like in awe of this human. But I loved that some of the things she talked about in her talk was the first challenge that they really had on Challenge Accepted for the stunt with the plane was finding a plane. And I had thought, because I think everybody just has it all figured out differently than I do. That's wrong, by the way. We don't have it figured out. We're all just like, what's the next thing we need to do? Yeah, it's not figured out. I'm going to show you the thumbnail for this one that I'm talking about. She had put out a tweet, and I'm going to tell you what my thought was and then what the reality is, because I got to watch her talk about this. But my thought was, when she put out a tweet, like, does anybody have a C-320 or whatever type of plane it is, plane? I was like, oh, she's already like figured this out. Like, she's already got a plane. This is really interesting. No, that was the beginning of her trying to find out if someone actually had the plane. And then she starts talking about what she did next, which also Challenge Accepted. She started calling different military organizations around the world and asking, hey, do you have a plane we could use? This plane. Like this plane from the stunt. This is the thumbnail for that video, which was I tried Tom Cruise's deadliest stunt. This plane. Needed to find the plane first. And so started calling like the British Royal Air Force and the C-130, it might have been. Whatever plane this is. I don't know planes, I'm sorry. Started calling militaries around the world to see if she could borrow a plane. And then, like, through a person, all of you are like, it's the C-130, perfect. Through a person, found a plane. And then started talking about getting on the phone with like the FAA and going from no and no and no and no to yes. And it was really cool seeing her talk about the behind the scenes and how much she was on the phone, where everybody was just telling her no all the time. And the FAA is like, no, you can't do that. What are you talking about? She's like, well, that's not true, because Paramount did it. So she took the FAA going, no, you can't do that, to what? You let a movie studio do it. Someone said yes, because the movie studio can't do it if you don't say yes. So somebody said yes to them. We just need to figure out how to get to that yes. So the process of, but you guys let Tom Cruise do it. Obviously, you're going to let me do it. Yep. Full Elle Woods, like, what? Like, it's hard? Leave the saving the world to the men. Just full, I've got this. And it was her on the phone with the FAA trying to figure out what their objections were. And then meeting each of those objections and being like, well, can we do it now? Can we do it now? Can we do it now? And then getting the insurance, the lawyers, and the FAA all on the same side so that she could do this stunt. Absolutely amazing to me, and moving mountains. So if you've not watched this video, go watch it. This video made me cry. I know, but it's absolutely incredible. She will show you how she trains for this, show you the team that was behind her in training for this, and the team that made this happen. Incredible stuff. And then her world race is up on the channel too. So you can go see all the Challenge Accepted. But yes, she did, for those of you asking, she did have a conversation with Tom Cruise at the Mission Impossible premiere. It's very cool. RK, she paid for that video herself. Yes, she does have sponsors. Yes, she is a Red Bull athlete. Yes, Red Bull helped provide infrastructure, but no, she funds her own videos. Yes, she has sponsorships, but she funds her own videos, which a lot of creators do. A lot of creators fund their own videos with, her videos and then her sponsorships. So she's got a lot of very cool stuff on her channel, and the World Race episode 1 and 2 are up. The Mission Impossible stunts, wild. She actually did try Houdini's deadliest tricks. Yes, she does these all herself. If somebody came to me and was like, hey, so do you want to try all the really deadly shit in the world? My answer would probably be, no, I'm not going to do that. But Michelle does all these things herself. It's absolutely crazy and amazing. And I love watching her journey to, this is either going to be awesome or it's not going to be awesome. But either way, I'm going to show you the journey behind it. Love. So I will link the creators that I'm talking about down below today, because we're talking about, now we've transitioned to Creator Summit, but I will link Michelle's channel and Kevin's channel over at Epic Gardening, and Max and Ryan and everybody. So Michelle, I'm standing there getting to watch everybody nerd out about the channels that I love, because I love Michelle's channel, but Michelle has not watched Max and Ryan. And Michelle and Epic Gardening and I have met at other events, but Kevin did not know the side of the internet because, again, Californians. Kevin did not know the side of the internet that Max and Ryan are on. We know, they don't. So it was so fun to see everyone get to meet each other and then appreciate what the other does. And then Michelle says, I hope that I am not ruining anything, but Michelle says, one of the things I've always wanted to do is storm chase. And I was like, oh, I can imagine how this might go. And I want to watch that video too. I want to watch that video too. So it was really fun to watch them all talk about what they do, and just to see other creators be genuinely enthused about creators that I'm enthused about. It was so much fun. I loved it. So I am ready. This is exactly what I said, actually. Token Karen said Twisters 3. This is what I said. I said, I am ready for Michelle Carre to make the next Twister behind the scenes where she's storm chasing and Ryan and Max are calling into a storm chaser. I can see it. I'm so excited. So I very much want to see where those connections go. And I'm really excited. And I'm excited to get to see Michelle, who's this is something I've always wanted to do. And it's well, here are the folks that know about that. So freaking cool. So we had great conversations the first night. We go to the after hours little area, and there's another streamer there who I had not met yet, who I knew, but I had not met yet. And she is a Twitch streamer and had her dog with her. Her dog was having some health issues. We got to hear about it she and I chatted about it the next day, but we had not met yet. And so she was wheeling a dog, stroller into kind of the after hours. And I'm standing there with a few other creators. And she lifts up the cover on it and is like, I swear it's my dog. It's not a baby. You know what I say next. And I'm there with her and a bunch of other streamers and myself and a few other creators. And so I say what anyone in my situation would say. You have a baby. in a bar because we're walking into the pub for the after hours where they had the best food, because the after hours had the finger foods. So they had like a truffle popcorn, and then they had like a French fry bar with like different seasoned salts that you could put on the French fries and like chicken nuggets. It was fantastic. So I immediately said, "You have a baby in a bar." And everyone just looked at me blankly. And I went, nobody? Nobody? No one had seen Sweet Home Alabama. No one had seen Sweet Home Alabama. No one. And I was like, I will see myself out. It's a movie reference. No, shit. Okay. Nobody had seen Sweet Home Alabama. Nobody had seen it. And I was like, huh, okay. Well, put Sweet Home Alabama on your list. And I'm going to go find the adults table. Now I'm going to scoot right out of here and go find the rest of the olds. But I was just like, this was not the only time it happened to me this weekend where I was like, shit, my movie references are now defining my generation a little bit. But I don't know how old Cutie Cinderella is. She is, I mean, an adult streamer. I don't know. I don't ask people these things. I just assume that I'm old. But then again, I realize a lot of even the adult streamers are like barely 30. So the older streamers are barely 30, which puts me in the ancient category on YouTube. Not in real life. We're talking YouTube life. So I was like, y'all should watch Sweet Home Alabama. I was like, how do we not? Though we had a lovely conversation the next day. We had a very nice conversation. I then retold that story to Sophia Nygaard, who has, of course, seen Sweet Home Alabama, and I felt a little better about myself. But I was just like, oh, yeah. Right. My references are a little bit dated, and that's okay. But it was funny. I was just like, no one, good, great, fantastic. Good. This is working for me beautifully. But it was one of those moments where I'm like, okay. But oh well. It doesn't matter because I love getting to meet other creators that I don't know. I love getting to talk to other streamers, and a lot of the other streamers on YouTube have come over from Twitch, so they all know each other. But there are kind of different corners of the internet with streamers. And so the gaming streamers, a lot of them know each other because they stream on YouTube and Twitch. And then the Twitch streamers know each other because it seems that a lot of the Twitch streamers know each other. And the YouTube streamers, a lot of us, when we are busy, we don't go anywhere because we're busy streaming. I'm like, Emily, can you come do this thing? I'm like, I'm going to be in trial. No, I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised that Max and Ryan both made it to an event in April because it's weather season. And both of them, the kind of last night that we were there walking around talking, both of them were talking about changing their flights and moving their flights up so they could get home to stream. I don't know how Ryan and Max are doing it. Both of them have been streaming nonstop since like Thursday with the weather, and I'm still just ready to fall over exhausted. But they both were rearranging travel to get home earlier. And there was a part of me that's like, I get the urge to like, I need to be home and stream, but also I needed to see my parents. So I was like, no, I can't just bounce. I can't just bounce. I can't just bounce. It was held in California. So it was lovely, but both of them were like, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go. And I get it, because if I was in trial, I don't know. Like, if the Richins trial had gotten delayed, I probably would have been like, you guys, I'm either going to stream on location. I'm going to miss a day and a half here and there and stream. It would have been difficult to navigate, but both of them were like, I got to get home, and I get it. And both of them got assurances that YouTube is going to expand the streaming time, because when we were talking to kind of the top of streaming, YouTube is always trying to balance bad actors and not bad actors. And so when YouTube set the like 12-hour stream rule, which we don't often bump up against here, we've done 10 plus, but after 12 hours, the problem is if you stream beyond 12 hours, the VOD doesn't save. So you could stream for 14 hours or 15 or 16 or more, but then you don't have a saved copy of your video. And for a lot of us, if you want to make sure that the replay crew has a replay to watch. It's part of keeping track of everything you're doing. And so YouTube says they are going to be rolling out some ability for channels to have longer streaming. I think they're going to do it by channel, not for just everybody. And all of us were talking and like, look, it makes sense. Like my channel, I don't think we need more than 12 hours. I wouldn't even ask. I'm not worried about it. And I'm not pressed, but I think that channels like Max, like Ryan, and others in their space should have the ability to go beyond 12 hours because A, they use it, B, they need it. So I think we will see that rolled out for some channels. I don't know if we'll see that platform wide. So we'll see. The subathons and 24-hour challenges don't save as VODs though. So I think we will see that rolled out for some channels because, yeah, a lot of you are saying Max had to stop and start another stream last night. So did Ryan. Right. And they shouldn't have to. So I think we will see some channels like them being able to stream for longer. And I think we'll see the platform allowing some channels to do that because obviously they're not trying to use it for some, clickbaity, nefarious purpose. They're using it for things that are legitimately a stream that takes sometimes 12, 13, 14 hours. They are legitimately streaming that long. So the VOD means that it's saved as a replay. So video on demand. But I know it's important for both of them to have their videos stay up so people can look at what happened and can go back and look at what happened. So I think we'll see that rolled out as well because both of them do a really good job of explaining their use case and explaining to those in control of kind of these levers why it matters for some channels, but not necessarily platform-wide. So I'm excited to see if that happens too. I think it will for some channels. Do I care? No, I don't. For my channel, it's not going to matter. We are, on the very rare occasion, going to go 12 hours, and that's going to be if we keep a stream live waiting for a verdict. Because most court days, we're going to be done by 10 hours. We better be done by 10 hours. So, and I tend to stop the stream and then restart for a verdict. But that might change if we want to have our own court cams. So I love that the ability is there depending on the court. So with that, we're going to answer some more questions. Either way, that was my, oh, you have a baby in a bar and just falling completely. It's like, womp womp. Everybody's like, what is she talking about? I'm like, movie. It's a joke about a movie. Never mind. Got to spend time with Michelle. Again, of course, with Caleb from the Fitness Marshall. I don't even know if Caleb and I took photos. We just like hollered and jumped up and down and hugged each other and chatted. The lunch that I had with like the streaming table, it was me like on our end of the table. Oh, my conversation with Neil. I will share that with you. The conversation with Neil, we need to talk about it. And then we'll back up. But I sat down at lunch with one of the team members for YouTube Live, Barbara, who's lovely, with Caleb and with Linus from Linus Tech Tips. And so kind of that's who was on our end of the table. And like a wedding, Neil was walking around chatting to everyone at all the tables. And so Neil comes over and chat, and we had just been chatting about Justin Bieber's performance at Coachella and Justin Bieber pulling up his old YouTube channel or his YouTube channel, pulling up the live chat, and whether or not YouTube knew how that was going to go and what was going to happen. And then you had like Katy Perry saying something about YouTube Premium or whatever. And we were curious how much YouTube knew what was going to happen, because it feels like one of those moments where you've got somebody on stage engaging with YouTube, talking about YouTube, pulling up YouTube's chat and engaging with YouTube chat. It feels like a moment with YouTube and with Justin Bieber, who started on YouTube. YouTube had no idea. YouTube had no idea that that was going to happen. YouTube had coordinated streaming Coachella, and they've done that a few years in the past. But YouTube had no idea that Justin Bieber was going to pull up his YouTube channel, was going to engage with the live chat. They had no idea that was his plan at all. And so we were asking Neil about that, and he was explaining that he had absolutely no idea any of that was going to happen, that it was all kind of organic to how Justin Bieber wanted to perform, to him pulling up his old videos, his old music, and to that whole moment. It was very organic to him, and no one knew. I imagine some on his team knew he wanted to use his computer so they could make sure that the sound was right, but that was it. No idea. And I love that more, honestly. Like, I love it that it was an organic moment. And as we were talking about that moment at Coachella, I was listening to what Neil was saying, and Neil said, you know, it felt like such a full circle moment for him, Neil, watching Justin Bieber like interact with his like early days videos. And he said, look, he's been on the platform since he was 11, 12 years old, and his mom was uploading his videos. And then he kind of moved on in that sentence. And I said, Neil, I'm gonna need to interrupt you and time out right there, because nobody caught what you just did. And I'm gonna just take a minute to talk about what just happened right there, because that was incredible. I've never watched like a CEO go full like CEO mode in front of my face. And I was like, that was the most incredible CEO moment of you being mindful of the fact that at 11, 12 years old, Justin Bieber's not allowed to upload his own videos because he wasn't 13, and that's against the platform TOS, to weave in just a half sentence that his mom was uploading his videos. I'm like, sir, that was masterful right there. And he just started laughing, and I started laughing. And so the two of us are laughing, and everybody's looking at us. He's like, nobody would have caught that but you. And I'm like, yeah, but also that was just brilliant, the way that you wove in A, the protection of the platform, but B, that things were being done properly. And it's lovely to see. Lovely to see, Neil. I love it. So then we just kind of giggled over lawyer things. And it was a nerdy moment for me, and I couldn't help it. I couldn't let the moment pass without just acknowledging the like mastery of, you know, just a half a sentence that a lot of people wouldn't said. Maybe nobody would have noticed, but it was so great. Like, it was so great. It was just so great. So I loved it. Just had a great Had a great experience. Always love getting invited into the rooms to have those conversations. Love being the person who's like, but how does that work on live? But how is it going to work on live? And I love being able to have those conversations and meet with other creators in all different areas of the world. So sorry, we're going to move a little bit because of the back. We're going to get to questions and then we're going to move on. So Lawnards, let's answer some questions about chat and go from there. But a couple of you are asking me about things that I do not know about. I have not been online much in like a week. So I traveled out for Creator Summit. I also spent some time with my parents. My dad was having a procedure, so it was nice to get to spend some time with him. He's all good, but it's stressful. So got to spend some time with my parents, got to go see my brother and my sister-in-law, got to see my nephew play baseball at like the old baseball field where we played like growing up. So had some offline family time, which was really lovely. So got to do the YouTube things, got to do some family things, got home and my back immediately like crashed. It was just like power down. And so I have been in like power down mode. So it is what it is. But it was a great experience. So we have more stories. I have some video for you guys in members only that we will go over. I'm going to answer some of your questions. We're going to talk about the case a little bit and then we're going to go. Because today we were just talking about Kouri. A lot of you are asking about other cases. We will get to other cases when we get to them. Don't worry. I think the poll reflects the age demo of this chat, which I love. We love our demo. And I will look at the poll before. Casey Cat, can we talk about the Lawnard pillow behind you? Sure. There's a pillow. It's a design you will see in the future. Not the pillow yet. We're working on finding pillows that we like, but don't worry. So we will see. Are you going to go over the Sarah Boone appeal? Not today. It took her a while to get a lawyer that was going to file it, but we're not going over it today. Today we are just doing Kouri. We're doing a chat. I'm going to see if my back can sit through more of a video because honestly, I am almost at timeout on where the body is, truly. So we will get there. Neuro Nanny said, I found your TED Talk. Needed to hear that. Thank you. It was always a good reminder of, hey, it's okay to pick like how you want to be in the world first. It is. Christy said, I remember seeing Linus's drone display video and realized you'd be there together, which I think is cool. There were creators there that I saw were going to be there and didn't see once. And then there were creators there that I saw quite a bit, which is lovely. I just kind of leave that up to just the universe. Like I'll have the conversations that are meant to be had. And so I just kind of let it unfold. I don't really go in with like, oh my God, I can't wait to find, oh my God, I'm going to have to go. I just kind of let it happen. And it's great. I knew that there were friends there that I was going to see, and that's fantastic. It's always nice to know you're going to at least see one familiar face. But also, I wasn't trying to be like, I need to go find. It'll happen. We'll have the conversations we're meant to have. We'll find the creators we're meant to find. It's really easy with the weather guys and like Kevin and like Carter Kench. Like they're so tall that you just see them. You're like, oh, they're over there. They're just, they stand out amongst the crowd. And then there are creators that I didn't know were going to be there and ran into and had lovely conversations with. So it was a lot of fun. But I also don't know like what creators have talked about being there, what creators haven't talked about being there. So I'm also like, I don't want to like run afoul of what anybody else has going on. So it's been fun. It was really fun. SF said, were there any creators there whose channels got hit by the AI program in the last 2 weeks? I don't know because I didn't hear anybody talking about it. So I don't know what AI program we're talking about. I don't know. So no, I don't know. Patty said, I love tasting history with Max Miller. Max and I had a lovely conversation. Max is an absolute delight. I also enjoy tasting history. We talked a lot about wild grain. We were talking about like what I eat on stream, and we talked a lot about wild grain. He was like, have you tried this? I'm like, no. I'm like, but have you tried this? He's like, no. Cause we both use wild grain and have wild grain as a sponsor. So we were talking a lot about it. And then I asked Max if he would ever consider doing like a behind the scenes as he's putting stuff together. And I was like, that would be really fun to see the behind the scenes. So I would like to see it. Christy said you let it happen organically. I do. If there's like a conversation I need to have, then I know I need to have that conversation. But really for me, that was some of the features conversations of figuring out what's going on with like the pinned comment, why YouTube chat hasn't been working great on stream. Like some of those are conversations for like, hey, all the bosses are in the room. Maybe we can get an answer to this thing instead of, hey, I need to try to find the right person to get that answer. So when I go in with a couple questions, they're generally platform questions. When it comes to creators, it's can't wait to see who's there. Can't wait to see, old friends, new friends, meet creators I haven't met before and kind of let that unfold. But also it can lead to some awkward moments where, streamers are like, you're a streamer. I am. What do you stream? Law. What? What is not games? No, not games. Oh, law. How does that work? But I also love the curiosity of like the gaming streamers that are like, huh? Like, wait, like what? And then I'm like, how are y'all still streaming Roblox? Had a lovely, brief but lovely conversation with Creekcraft about all of the Roblox legal stuff, which I hope wasn't awkward for him because he had made a video calling out some of the legal issues that were going on Roblox. And I was like, hey man, that's really courageous. I'm really glad you're keeping an eye on it and telling your audience about that. Like not a lot of creators would do that. And I think it's really pretty awesome that you did. I've been covering the legal side of that. It's a mess. He's like, yeah, it's a lot. I'm like, it's a lot, but it's nice to get to have those conversations too. It be fluffy. I always enjoy seeing Shane and Amanda from Smosh. We always have great conversations. So it's really fun. So I had a great time. Let's see. Allie said people haven't heard. Oh, a lot of people have no idea this is a segment of the YouTube, especially when it comes to younger creators who get a lot of content through the shorts feed. No idea this even exists over here at all. Like no idea. Let's see. A lot of you are talking about inauthentic content. I have no idea when did that start happening? No idea. Haven't seen anything about it. Haven't looked. I'll go look, but I have not seen what's going on. So I'll see. But then some of you are like, no shorts. We are going to be doing some shorts on the channel for the keeping up to date in between, which I did a little bit while I was traveling. So we will be doing some of that. But also YouTube has allowed you to completely turn off the shorts feed. They know that people don't always want shorts, so you can do both. So we will chat. Thank you. I'll go take a look, but you can turn off shorts entirely if you want to. I will have to find the article on how to do it, but it's in your settings that now you can. So I have not seen what's going on with demonetizations. I will have to take a look, but I have not seen it. So if anybody's struggling with that, Renee Ritchie, the creator liaison, is always a good place to start if people don't know where to start. Tag him on Twitter, reach out to him on Twitter. I think is the easiest way to get in touch with him. So let's see. A lot of you are just like, I missed you. I missed you guys too. Don't worry. We'll never be gone for too long. And I will always let you know when I'm going and when I'm coming back. Let's see. QG Fourth 370 said turns 60 tomorrow. Let's talk about who isn't ready for this to be the end of April. Fair. It's fair. and congratulations and happy early birthday. We love it. We love it. We love it. Blue Eyes Fairy said, glad it wasn't I'm going to get bangs stress level. No, I definitely have learned to not just randomly cut bangs because I have cowlicks and it doesn't work, but new piercing definitely worked. Love it. Love it. Sibling Creature said, can you just turn off the shorts interface and have them listed as normal videos? I don't think so. I think if you turn off the shorts feed that you do not get served shorts. That's my understanding of how it works, but I haven't gone for a deep dive into it. I looked at it and was like, oh, I love this level of control that people can really choose what they want for their algorithm and can give feedback in that way. Like, please don't just start populating these videos. I appreciate that. Ellie B said, I'm so happy to be back with this community. This week has been really hard career-wise, waiting to hear from my therapist. I'm sorry, Ellie. I'm glad you are here. I always add an I in there. I don't know why. I apologize. I'm glad the frames are back, and we always have stuff on the channel to watch. There's always stuff to catch up with. So thank you for being here with the law nerds, because sometimes it's needed. Casey Cat said, we are back to being law nerds after y'all nerds, after we raised over 100K the other night. It was really cool to see the charity efforts, because what I love about Ryan Hall's charity efforts, not only that he does them, but that they also control the folks who are rolling out to immediately bring help. So it is such a donate to the 501c3, and they are immediately in the communities that need help. I know they were in Enid, Oklahoma, after that EF4, but they're out in the communities immediately and helping. And we saw that with some of the storm chasers this week. For those of you that don't watch a lot of storm chasers, we saw that with some of the storm chasers who have been chasing storms and then saw trees down and stopped what they were doing, got out in the rain with a chainsaw and started trying to clear roads so that emergency services could get through to help. And it's a really nice thing to see that, I guess, combination of, yeah, we're here to witness what's happening in nature, but also if people need help, we're going to stop what we're doing and help. It's a really amazing thing to see, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Some of you were asking about spring camp. Travis is sore. Travis is exhausted and happy and had a great spring camp. I'm looking forward to another summer with the Cavaliers. For those of you who are like, what are we talking about? I mean, it's not me with the Cavaliers, but me watching the Cavaliers. For those of you that are Emily, band. Like elite performance level DCI drum and bugle corps marching band. I'm so excited for what they're working on. I'm so excited to see what they're going to put on the field. And the choreo Travis was showing me is just gorgeous. I also love that it challenges him. I love seeing him be pushed. He's ready to be pushed. And I love seeing him be like, oh, there are some people in this core color guard that are insane on another level. And I just get to be in awe of how insane they are and be happy to be in the room with them and pushing myself kind of beyond my own comfort zone, which is how I feel getting to be with all the other YouTubers. I'm watching, other YouTubers building production companies and doing all of this insane stuff. And I'm like, I get to witness people making crazy videos, but also trying to change the entertainment industry, also changing the way weather is communicated, changing the way we talk about law. It's inspiring to be around people who are building more. And I got to tell Stephen that he's on the soundboard to his face and have a whole conversation about it. It was great.
Emotional damage.
It was fantastic. So it's really nice to just be able to look at people who are pushing their verticals forward in different ways and just be like, oh my God, I'm inspired. I love you guys. You're the best. So I love it. I love it. I love getting to be a part of it. I love doing what I do. I'm all emo about it. It's just so cool. Like, Michelle could be the first YouTuber to ever win an Emmy for her series. Like, how fucking cool is that? That she's like, you know what? I don't need anyone's permission. I don't need anyone to say, yeah, you can be a stunt woman, or no, you can't be a stunt woman. She's like, I can just build it. And it's the same with Ryan Hall. He's like, I don't need anyone's permission to be able to give people information that they need. And if I want to get them that information faster, I'll just build it. And if we need to give them that information 24/7, we'll just build it. And if I need to get them an app where they can get that notification better in his Weatherwise app, we'll just build it. I'm like, right? We need better notifications. Fuck it. We'll just build it. Like, we'll just screw it. We'll build it ourselves. And we got to talk about our software a little bit. I got to talk with Linus Tech Tips about the stuff that we've been building in our streaming software and what that looks like. It's just nice to see a lot of other people in the room who are like, I don't need anyone's permission. I have an internet connection and a microphone. I'll just do it my fucking self. Let's go. I love it. And it's all in different spaces of the internet, but it's so fucking cool. Like, we're not asking permission. Let's just do it. Do it ourselves. Potato Gamer Fiber said, like with Lemon Pound Cake trial, if it wasn't recorded, people not know how bad that judge was. Potato Gamer Fiber, A, thank you for this comment. B, I'm going to expand on that just a little bit because I have thoughts. Can I expand for a minute? Can I expand on this for a minute? Because I saw clips of the Afroman trial on like Instagram. I'm sure they were on TikTok and elsewhere. But I saw clips of moments from that trial. I was like, oh my God, Afroman's kind of hilarious. This is insane. I agree that you need FAA permission, but she got FAA permission. So I was like, there are some funny moments. But even from watching the clips of that trial, which I think is a good thing because it got more people interested in the trial, I didn't realize how bad it was. And when we started watching more of that trial beyond just the clipped moments, it was chilling to just sit there and be like, holy shit. Because a lot of people, I think, saw the clips and saw like how Afroman was clapping back and we're like, we love a clap back. But backing up and watching a little bit more of it, it was not funny. It was horrifying. It was emotionally draining. It was horrific to watch. And I spent most of the time being flabbergasted. But I think that it's a good thing that we can see it. And it's a good thing that we can go back and watch the full trial instead of just seeing the clips and being like, I mean, Afroman's a vibe. I love that we were able to go beyond like, oh my God, he's just clapping back on the stand, and go beyond kind of the moments that caught some headlines to look at what was really happening and being like, holy shit, this is insane. And to be inspired, and a lot of you are saying it in the chat too, but to be inspired by the jury in that case, which I don't think is an overstatement. The jury in that case looked at law enforcement in their town and went, no, we're fighting against you. I don't give a fuck. That this is not right. It was wild to witness, but it was also pretty inspiring to see that more often than not, juries get it right. There are times when they don't, but it's the exception, not the rule. And this jury was incredibly brave. And the way that that judge behaved is one of the most shocking and horrific things I've ever seen. I'm still buffering about it, but Afroman's appealing. So we're not going to be done talking about it because we're going to look at his appeal as well. Because Afroman's appealing, and we'll look. We'll look at it. But it was wild. But also you get to see the system working. And more often than not, you get to see all of it. So yeah, he's appealing. I'm going to cover the appeal. We just haven't gotten there yet. Don't worry, chat. If I tell you all what he's appealing now, then we won't have another episode about it. Don't worry. There are things he can appeal. He did win, but there are things he can appeal. So he is appealing. Don't worry. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. We might have to put up a vote about what we cover tomorrow then. because we'll get there. Maybe we'll just do both appeals tomorrow and cover them pretty quick. What do we think? Maybe we'll cover both appeals tomorrow. I'll have to look how long they are. But yes, he won, but yes, he can still appeal. So we're not done talking about it. So a lot of you guessed early on when I said we needed to talk about Sweet Home Alabama. You have a baby in a bar. I know. Maybe we'll just do a quick appeal stream tomorrow. We're going to have to see how the back does. I know. We'll have to see how the back does. All right. I'm going to get to a few more questions and then we'll go from there. Anissa Patton said, can there be consequences for the judge? It depends on how the judges are elected, but I think the attorneys have the ability to register some complaints. And that is something that the attorneys can look into. So yes, there can be consequences, but also I think bringing light to what's happening is going to have more impact than just like a judicial counsel saying that was inappropriate, because now it becomes people in your life being like, what the hell was this? And that's where things really actually start to have impact. And I am a don't go real world with people. But if you're a lawyer in that community and have never seen that judge before, and you see or hear about this trial, you can now paper that judge and be like, I'm not appearing before this judge. And you can end up in a point where if enough attorneys refuse to appear before a judge because they don't think they can get a fair case, then there's nowhere they can put that judge to do their work because attorneys refuse to appear before them. So the attorneys in the community can have a real impact because it impacts them. And papering a judge, you can paper a judge out of a building where all the attorneys are like, we're not appearing in front of you. And so there are things that communities can do that is appropriate to them. So yeah, I think it will have consequences. I think it will have impact, I guess I should say. I don't know if consequences will be felt the way we would like to see. You can refuse a judge. Yes, you can. So every jurisdiction has a way where you can object to a judge. You can only do it once. But if you appear in front of that judge, you can say, I'm not appearing before this judge for whatever reason. It depends on the jurisdiction how that is done. But yeah, you can paper a judge and say no. But it has to be done at the beginning. So we'll go from there. But if he's a retired judge, which a lot of you are saying he's retired and he was brought in on this case, but if they are using retired judges frequently and everybody refuses to appear before him, then he gets taken out of the lineup and doesn't get to sit anymore. Because if you bring in a retired judge and are like, hey, come on in and hear these cases, and all the lawyers are like, no, sir, then you just pick somebody else. And then they don't get picked anymore. And then they don't hear any more cases anymore. And that's impact that matters. So you'll see. But if he is a retired judge that's only brought back for limited cases, that might change where he's not brought back at all because the attorneys refuse to appear before him. And that matters. But now people know. And if you don't know, you can't refuse to appear before a judge. The Wanderer said, we have a DCI group that camps in our tiny town. I love that. The college where the Cavaliers train at is a smaller college as well, but it's really cool because they basically take over the entire community. And what I love about the DCI groups is they really, from my experience, they really instill in the performers to be a good neighbor. So they do not try to disrupt the entire town. Now, if somebody doesn't love the sounds of a horn line at 9 o'clock in the morning, they might not agree with that. But who doesn't love a horn line? But they really do instill for them being a good neighbor in the communities that they're training in, because they do take over an entire town, and it's really cool. So, and if they are performing near you, if you have a DCI show near you, no matter what cores are performing, go see it. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. It's a great night out. Snack bar is always good. Go with the family, take the kids, see some live music. It's so much fun. We love a horn line. Love it, love it, love it. Love it. So, Michelle, I need to take a look again. I have not checked in on the Erica Jane trial. It's going to be LA though, and I don't know if there's going to be coverage in the courtroom. I hope that there is, but I've been needing to check in about it. And it's been a minute. Have TNG figured out college after last summer? George is not going to be prepared for Travis being gone. So it's going to be a problem. So this is Whippet 2014 said, not Emily playing the role of Barney playing Have You Met Ted with other creators? Yes. I very much love, and I don't know if this is something everybody loves or not. I don't ever want the feeling that like cool people haven't met each other in the same space because nobody said, have you two met each other? Also, I know that for me, going into events for the first time in a space can be a little bit intimidating when you don't know somebody. And so I always want to make sure that as creators, if they are coming back to other events, are always like, oh, I know so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Like I've made those connections. And I also am a fan of so many of the people that are now also like my peers and my friends, that I love being able to be like, oh my God, have you met so-and-so? They do this and it's fucking incredible. They do this and it's fucking incredible. Like I love it. And I love being able to make those connections. It can also be intimidating when you're in, you know, your own little corner of the internet that a lot of other creators might not know about, because you're a fan of all these other creators. And you're like, I mean, I know what you do, but they don't necessarily know what you do. I also love to bridge the gap and be like, if you do not know what these creators do, it's so fucking cool. Like, you've got to check out what they do. It's so incredible. And I remember people and the content that they make and those things fairly well. So I love being able to be a cheerleader for others on the platform that are doing good and creating things that are awesome. And I like meeting new creators so I can also do that in the future and be like, oh my God, have you met so-and-so? And reminding creators that, you know, there are those within YouTube that are there to help, and you can ask for that, and that's okay, because they're like, we want feedback. And I always remind the streamers, you guys have to be a little louder because the platform is really set up for video on demand. It's set up for VODs. So we sometimes have to be like, hey, we know that the majority of the platform's watch time is like not what we do, but also like none of us want to go to Twitch. Can we just make it easy? We want it to be YouTube-y. We love it here. Thanks, everybody. Let's see. I saw somebody ask about Alfreda H. Sutton. It's an incredible venue. There's a little bit of a walk, so comfy shoes, and it can get hot. So like a handheld fan or a little spray bottle hydrate, it can get hot at that venue, but it's a really fun venue. I love it there. But it can get hot. So that. We will link, I saw a lot of you asking, we will link the creators down below that I've talked about today. That's definitely not everybody that was there. It's also not everyone I'm a fan of, but I will link who we talked about down below so you can go check out maybe other verticals of the platform you haven't seen. Like if you haven't seen the Great World Race that Michelle is putting out, or you haven't seen her recreate Tom Cruise's Deadliest Stunt, go check out her channel. I think you'll be really inspired by what she's making and the heart behind it. I know all of you watch the weather creators, but I'll link Ryan Hall and Max Velocity down below. They are probably live because it's going to be that kind of a day. They're probably already live. As I always say, if Ryan is talking about you, come back on the replay. Because if Ryan's talking about where you live, go watch him first. Like, go watch him first. Because it's more important if Ryan Hall is talking about where you live to go watch him and come back and watch us on the replay. So they're both live. Yeah, it's going to be like that with weather. And then I will link Epic Gardening. I'm just gonna warn you. If you have an inkling that you want to garden, Epic Gardening is going to pull you right in, and you are going to be planning out and redoing your entire space. So you got to be ready for that, because it's incredible stuff. I know, incredible stuff. So what else? We will talk some more about that on members only next week. I'll let you know when that's going to be. It's going to partly depend on my back. Bella said, does Ryan only cover the middle and east? No, it depends on the weather. Right now it's tornado season, so mostly middle and east coast, but he has covered fires on the west coast and flooding and rain on the west coast. And I have seen him cover hurricanes kind of wherever they are, and cover like massive snows on the east coast. But it's tornado season, so right now it's going to be tornado coverage. But he has created his own like weather severity score and covers it. He does live streams that cover weather as it's unfolding on a day like today, but he also does videos that go up on demand to cover big weather events wherever they are. So it just depends. Right now, it is going to be, I think today is me a little bit more than it is Missouri, Kansas, but it might also be y'all early today. But today's a little bit more me. Missouri, Kansas City, Oklahoma, y'all have already been through it. I don't know if like Indiana needs any more today, but there's going to be more today. Let's see where we're talking about now. Right now, Texas is what he's talking about. So, that. But if you are interested in hearing more from Creator Summit, more of the behind the scenes and some of the behind the scenes videos, that will be in members only live. I have some photos I need to share with you guys in the app, so that will be up in the lounge today. It's one of those things that I've been trying to do for like a million days, and just have been kind of laid out. So that will be up for you guys. And what else? If my back is not feeling better, I do not know what tomorrow will look like. So stay tuned in the Law Nerd app. We will be in court Thursday, just a little bit later in the day, to cover the last, I think, hearing in the Taylor, Frankie Paul, Dakota Mortensen mutual restraining orders. That's going to be a little bit of, it's family law. It's going to be a lot of accusations about what they have done to each other. So just be prepared as we get there. And I think that's where we are for the week. But I have a ton of stuff on the docket. The bandwidth is a little low at the moment. So that's why we were just covering Kouri today, and we'll get to the other stuff. Don't worry. You know that we will. But also, sometimes when I need the brain to brain, when the back is backing, it's not as easy. So, Kel said the Proctor phone hearing was interesting. It's on my docket, but it's probably going to take me about a week to get here, or to get there. So, but we will. There's a couple hearings we're going to put together for all the Karen Reed civil stuff, and we'll just go through those hearings together, which will... Again, nothing's going to move rapidly in any of those cases. So we'll get there. The David stuff has been moving pretty rapidly, and I'll be keeping an eye on that as well. That coverage has mostly been over on the Emily Show channel, which is our podcast channel over on the Emily Show. And there have been some shorts on this channel. A lot of you have said that they're helpful to stay in the loop. And so if there's developments that we haven't gotten to yet, we will put those things that are kind of urgent and more breaking in short form as we can. So with that, Law Nerds, we have a lot coming up. We have court this week. We have sentencings. We have sentencings coming up over the next few weeks, for Banfield, make sure you are prepared. We are making cookies. We are having Lawnard International Cookie Day. We're going to bring cookies and coffee to sentencing, and we're going to see what Judge A has to say, because I imagine it's going to be a lot. And before we leave, Lawnards, we need to say where we're at with the soundboard. 42% of you said Elle Woods. Liar, with Princess Bride coming in second, and then Jim Carrey third, and then Khloe Kardashian coming in with 9%. So Khloe's off. Elle Woods wins, and Princess Bride is second. Maybe I need to add, you know, I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. But it only comes up in like 2 cases. Maybe we need 2 liar sound effects. I'll keep it in mind. But for now, it's going to be Elle Woods. So for now, it's going to be Elle Woods. Khloe is off the soundboard. Elle Woods is on the soundboard. And we will vote for some others. Maybe we'll rotate our liars in the future, because we got some room on the soundboard. We've got lots of good stuff, but you know, I think we could put the entire movie Legally Blonde on the soundboard for different parts. It's fantastic. All right, Lawnards.
Emotional damage.
I will see you maybe tomorrow. We'll see how the back goes. So get the Lawnard app if you don't have it, because that's when I will keep you posted in the morning. If I'm anticipating not streaming, I'll give you the heads up. If I'm going to be streaming, I'll give you the heads up even before the update comes out. If you are on Android, make sure that you update your Lawnard app. We have been having some quirks on Android, but make sure you update your app as we are getting things smoothed out. That should help. And yeah, I will keep you posted. For the rest of the day, y'all take care, because there's a lot of weather going on. Be safe. And if you're looking for some inspo, maybe go watch Michelle do some crazy, crazy stuff, like run 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. Yep. Absolutely what's going on. So go check it out. You guys are the best. I will see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Thank you for being a Lawnard. I missed you. I'll see you soon. I'm going to go see if we can get the back feeling a little bit better so we can be back tomorrow, because that's the goal. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you don't miss a live stream or any of the updates on the cases that you care about most with the Lawnard app at lawnardapp.com. It's a free download on iOS and Android, so I can keep you in the loop, because you never know when something's going to pop off. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a Lawnard.